Hello, hello.
1, 2, 3, and we're live?
Should be. Please write in chat if you can hear us.
Yeah, mostly write if you cannot hear us. If you can hear us, don't write. It's okay. Because the stream goes out with a little bit of delay, so we will not be able to see that you don't have any sound until another few minutes. Okay. Oh, wait, never mind the nickname of this user. This is actually
him. Yes.
our concept artist, who will also talk about the global map today. All right, so another week, another update from our side. I don't know if it's been a good week or not. It's been a busy week. We're on the game design side. We're working on the stacking, and in general, the whole inventory system. We did not implement it before in terms of how you can keep and move stuff around, because we were not certain if you're gonna do volume, meaning that you have, let's say, 20 slots into which you can place certain items, or weight. And we settled on the weight, so each character now has a capacity that they can carry, and that capacity changes with certain traits and events. For example, if someone is wounded or has a specific trait such as one lacked, then the capacity will be lower. We also agreed that we will introduce backpacks, and all of that stuff is coming out next week in a development blog, giving you some more information. Finally, we organized all of the inventory items into different groups. Took us a while, but finally we figured out that the best way to do it is if one item can belong to a couple of groups. So if you have, let's say, a magic winter cloak that gives you warmth and protection and increases your travel speed, it'll be available as equipment, also as an artifact, if it's magically enhanced. Now, getting closer home, we continue to work on the global map. It's a huge part of what the game looks like. You'll be spending a lot of time looking at the global map, and if you already saw this week's development blog, you'll see that it was pretty painful as we were looking for the right combination of atmosphere and functionality.
It took us some iterations to do before we found what we wanted to show and how we wanted to do it. As usual, actually. So
when we did the character generator, we thought, you know, fuck, that was a big part of work. And now when we are close to finishing the global map, we also think that this is a pretty huge part of work. So today we'll try to go through a couple of events in the game, and then we'll see how that goes. Do you want to talk about global map before? Probably.
Yeah, sure. Let's go to a real-time board and we'll show a couple of iterations and what we have.
Let me get the concept artist responsible for all those assets here.
Hello.
Yep. Everyone can hear you nice and clear.
Lovely.
So we're on a board with all the concepts and the process for a global map. There's a lot of updates right now, so let's go to the latest, I think. The development of mountains and hills and other biomes.
We can probably come back a bit to ancient forest as well, because last time we stopped, we sort of looked at the generated concept of the forest that Andrei made in Photoshop, yes? This one.
Yeah, it was based on your concept.
Yeah. So, yes, I drew an image of how the global map should look like, and Andrei in Photoshop made a little generated concept of how it may look like in our map generator. So, after seeing this concept, I had to prepare some assets. So you will see a lot of this, a lot of repetition of a concept being cut out into separate assets. And also, each of the biomes will have its own background where these assets are going to stand on, right? So that this background is going to fill up the space under the assets.
So basically workflow is like this. We are creating a concept of a biome, how it looks and feels. Then we're cutting it into the smaller elements that can be reassembled to create more like a natural believable shapes for a forest, not just simple spherical or cubical shapes, but much more interesting, like on the screenshots that we've took from working build, where you can see the shape of a forest it looks quite natural.
Yeah. So our main goal is to make this map look more artistic, more like as if it's drawn in a traditional way, rather than making it look like it's being computer generated. Of course, it'll be very difficult to achieve this look because the map will be computer generated and will have a limited amount of assets. But this is our result so far when it comes to Ancient Forest, and we think that it looks pretty good. Of course, these are still, as you can see, it's a bit pixelated, yeah.
No, it's fine.
Yeah, so these are still rough concepts. We're gonna clean this up, but already as a mass, we think that the forest looks pretty well, pretty good.
So we've tried this idea and it works, so we'll just need to polish it, add new biomes, and that's it. We'll have a proper working map. Currently we already have ancient forest, hills, mountains, plains, and we're working currently on a regular forest and swamp.
So there. So we're gonna go through sort of all the work we did so far with all the mentioned biomes. So we have plains. This is an image that I've taken from the concept image, right? So everything is easier on the picture, but once you have to cut it up and set it up on the map, it becomes a lot more complicated. So in this image here, we see how I've cut up some plain assets, and we were also experimenting with plain backgrounds. So the image on the left, this hilly one, was changed to the image on the right, as we figured out that adding more noise under an already kind of noisy hilly background will just create additional noise. And this
too
is
much details in the background will create a lot of distraction while you're looking at the real map of a game, because it's only a background for objects that we're interacting with. It's not like a main thing that we need to use for our game.
Yeah, and creating any kind of image, you need to make sure that there is balance between detail and empty space. So with our old map we had issues, and we will look at images of the old map later on, that everything is just noise. So we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to create this nice balance between noise and space. We also made some changes in our brushes. For items, inventory items, we used a very sort of hard edge brush. But for this map, we realized that it needs to be softer. All the map background objects, actually, they have to sort of fade out in a way, because we have so much stuff that is gonna go on top of the map. We have the item icons, we have
Points of interest.
Yes. So we've also changed the line color as well. So if you have point of interest that has like black line art on it, it has to stand out more than those hilly plain trees. So we made the color of the plain line art a bit more faded, right? So these are the stylistic choices we're sort of heading towards as we
So
create.
that's like all the steps we're applying to each biome to finalize it, but actually there is additional layer, locations, how do we call it, markers on the map, probably. It's not an icon that will be like floating on top, but it's more of a simplified illustration of what location looks like. So you'll be able to see ruins or magic node or monolith or other locations right on the map, and they will look like proper illustration, not just like an icon.
Yeah, because in the beginning we had sort of a back and forth between should we make it as an icon or should we have it as a point of interest that is integrated into the map. So we realized that making it just an icon will take away a lot of life from the map. So we've decided to actually make a stylized version, a small stylized version of points of interest on the map. Also, the kind of additions we're planning to do for planes, for example, is adding a bit of flowers. So every background, every biome has a sort of a illustration concept to it. Of course, our map is going to look different from the illustration because each illustration has a mood set to it. And our map has to have a whole singular mood, right? So we'll try to add a bit of flowers to the planes and maybe it'll add a bit of pop of color here and there. Okay, so mountains. We can talk about mountains. So here are the mountains. I've also added the old version that we had, and this is the concept version of the mountains. And this is a sort of illustration where I was planning out how I'm gonna build the assets and what the assets are gonna form in the future. So I thought that maybe we could have like these mountain walls, but Andrei said like no.
We can, but we need to adapt them, and then we can have them. Yes.
Yes, but at the moment
There's
no.
always some kind of technical restrictions.
Yeah.
That are limiting our artists to make their like greatest painting of mountains they would like to show.
Yeah, so as an illustrator, it's really difficult for me to sort of, I can imagine more than it can be done technically. But at the end of the day, we got a pretty tiny but cute looking mountain generation, I would say. Yeah, so here's the generated version. And we can go to hills quickly.
Where is the hills?
There you go.
Okay.
Here are hills. So, again, these are quite a pixelated version of the old hills, and this is the new hills concept taken from the image. Now, this one is a super tricky one that we'll try to develop to look as natural and interesting as possible. Because in the concept we have all sorts of things. Their hills are blending in with mountains, they're blending in with the forest, and it has the fog and the river and lake. It's all beautiful and majestic, as a sketch concept can get, of course. As I started breaking things down into assets, things got a little bit messier and more minimalistic. So right now, actually, for hills we decided to use an old background image of plains because
It'll create nice transition between these biomes because they have more or less this grassy colors and just a different amount of hills. And
yeah, so this is sort of a end result. It's kind of all over the place right now, but again, we'll try to add more assets and maybe add more color variation to the background, and even add, hopefully, we'll try to experiment with some fog on the background, but we shall see. Like, everything, as I said, everything in the map right now is quite experimental. It's quite conceptual. So maybe next week everything can look quite a bit different, but maybe quite the same. And the last one that I'm actually working on right now is regular forest. So the old version was quite small and very tiny, very noisy. So we're trying to, as with the ancient forest, we're trying to add a bit more of that illustrative look to the image. These are the concepts of the regular forest. So in this concept, try to get away from the image of the forest just being one mass of something. I wanted the trees to stand out more, but right now the trees kind of look like as if maybe they're growing on top of each other. So we're dealing with the same kind of iterations right now. I've started sketching out some trees to understand what kind of trees are in this forest. So the difference between the ancient forest and the regular one is that in the ancient forest we have these old ancient trees. They're thick, they have these huge roots and rocks all around them. And regular forest is your usual young forest, and it's a mix of pine trees and leafy trees. So I sketched out some trees, and as usual I started piling them up using the assets I've created and making bunches of trees that we're gonna use to create larger forests. And here I color them, right? So at the moment I don't have the image here right now, but there needs to be a nice combination, Andrei, right, of small and big assets.
Yeah,
here.
we need a variation of size and shape so we can later assemble it in a bigger shape of a whole forest. So it should contain some big splats of trees and some kind of small details, so it will create this nice play of big and small, like a lot of details and an area full of this less detailed forest areas.
Yeah.
But it's not in a build currently. I'm working on implementing it. Probably will show you screenshots of updated map on the next week.
Yeah. Or maybe on our Discord. Some
Of
spoilers.
course.
Follow our
All the
Discord channel
spoilers
for
on
more
our
updates.
Discord.
Yes. And yeah, Swamp is super in production right now, and this is the thing I'm gonna work on later on. So that's it, I suppose.
Yeah, good. Thank you very much for such a detailed report of what you're doing. I think we'll be able to look at the map in its current state in a build.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also we'll be able to show some interactions, I think.
Ooh, sounds fun.
So thank you. And now we're waiting Sergey to continue our journey. So we're loading, and while we're loading, what we can say about the development process?
It's tough. It's difficult. Rita said everything we had to say today. It's hard to follow up on an artist talking about details. Anyway, let's see if we can get something to work in today's build, and that's pretty much it.
Good. So basically we have update for our magic interactions and overall interaction with the world. So now we can explore some areas around it. Let's start from magic. We have update in the magic node screen. Now we have proper slots for sources of magic energy and consumers.
So the income is above.
Yeah, right now income is above, and magic is flowing into our main chamber, and currently we have capacity of 340, and
The current storage is 113. Okay.
yeah, and we have additional data as how much is the total income and total
Spend.
spent. Yes,
How do we spend it? The
on the
disciples?
rituals and
3 disciples, that's minus 30, and then the Call of the Spire is
It's 70.
70. Ah.
so we can change it and look how it will change our income at the end of the day. So if the Call of the Spire is too high, we will lose 22 magic energy and at the end of the day. So you always need to balance
There should
your
be a button that
spendings.
basically says how to balance. Or
Maybe.
probably. Okay. So yeah.
So if we want to increase the Call of the Spire, then we will need to increase our magic energy income. So let's go grab some magic from these magic nodes. So
You
it's
make
a
it
source.
sound so easy. It's an arcade game. You go and fight some
Of course,
cyclones.
it's easy.
Yeah.
Just push a button and that's it. So
Okay.
it's a source of magic energy, and we can perform a ritual. We will add some disciples. Everyone is hungry and tired,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they need
yeah.
to do their job. So let's go.
There's a lot of small things missing still. At the bottom right corner, you can see the rotating night and day thingy. It's the very first version of this, but
It already
at
shows.
least we're getting there. Yeah.
Yeah, current date-night status. So we've changed a little bit the icon of a current quest group, and now we show the status of each disciple in a group. It's
Oh, we
represented
do. Okay.
in 5 stages, I think, 5 different colors from dark red to white. So white is 100%, he's absolutely okay. If it's yellow or red, something is wrong with him.
But do you mean health or do you mean the overall thing?
It's overall.
Because they're starving, but it doesn't show red.
It's will be based on its condition and health, I think.
Uh-huh.
So
Okay, so
if
they're
they are,
moving, they're not moving, right?
I have just paused the game so so we can see. When they reach the point, their destination, they will start casting the ritual. Ritual will take some time to perform, and they cannot they cannot be interrupted during the ritual
Okay.
process. So they cannot eat, sleep, or anything else. They need to finish it, and
Yeah.
then it's done.
So it looks like they finished it.
Yeah, this one is quite fast for
But
now.
Can we check the magic room? How much do we
Yep.
have additionally?
Um,
Because they have to get it immediately. Like they don't have to go back to connect.
That's right. So after a ritual is finished, you already can see the difference. Now we can see the second source of energy that will bring us 18 points of energy per day.
It was a very weak source. It was like a discounted source.
It's better than nothing. You know,
Sure,
we have a second one, and we will take it as well, because we need more energy, of course.
So on the map, we currently don't show that we control that place, right?
Not yet. We're working on
Uh-huh.
it. So later you'll be able to see the magic flowing.
Yeah, let's not
between
talk about
location.
later. We don't know. We
Okay.
don't know.
I have it in a test status, so yeah,
Our
it's
general
almost there.
ambition is not to say, and you will see something, because we're not
You're right.
certain it's gonna happen. we
Let's
were-
say only what we have. That's
We
right.
were discussing rains and the rain season, but we're not sure we should make it because
It's
it
just an idea.
has a lot of
for now.
connections. Yeah, so we're not mentioning it even here on the stream.
Yep.
No one heard about rains. Okay.
What is
the
rain?
Second source is 13 plus.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we already increased our energy income by 30%. That's a lot. So we can.
Oh, we're still spending more than we're getting. We're at 0.
Yeah, but you're using a lot of energy for color of Spire. So
Yeah.
maybe we can.
But I think we should not be able to do anything here right now because we have 0. So the call of the Spire should automatically go down, or
Good point. While our energy is at 0, everything that we are casting or a ritual requiring energy,
Yeah.
it will damage our mage health.
this is what you see in the lower
And
left.
as you can see, he already has only 3 health points out of 10. So he's almost
So what's gonna
dead.
happen in early access is I launched your game, but my mage died somehow. I don't know why. What is going on? And we're like, let's add a window saying you're using your health to perform rituals beyond what you
each
have.
time this kind of situation will occur, we'll inform a player that he'll need to readjust his magic consumption, or he'll be his character will be
It'll
damaged.
be a window with the header. Bad decision. Bad decision.
Yeah. And while our mage is still alive, let's go and explore ruins.
Is
'cause
it 2 characters who look almost the same?
Who?
Like in this new party, you just send 2 guys.
Maybe. Oh, can see. We can see him through the sample. Yeah, they're quite similar. One is tougher and with a ring in its ear.
Soldiers' clothing, yeah. Okay. They go to the same hair cutter. They run away from the same village.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
And there, it's party from Swords Energy returned and Ruins exploration. Ta-da!
Wait.
What they have found? They have found some books. To
Do we already have the names in the books?
not in English, so they're unknown for now.
Just
They
in
have found a
Japanese.
chest, and in the chest there was 6 different books. But we can at least find out
Elaborate.
what kind of books they are. So one is from alchemy with
The
cooking
second-
secondary skill, and 2 from monstrology.
So wait a second. 21 and 34 is the experience that you get, right?
Should be
Should be.
some social magic and domestic magic. So
Oh, that looks pretty rare, right?
actually, this one level 4 is rarest,
Yeah.
and this
But
one
the numbers are wrong because you should be getting not 34 but like 3,400 at that level.
yeah.
If it's on level 4, otherwise you're gonna read forever. Ah, it's okay.
And also we can go explore a cave. There is no books in the cave, but
Why
there's
everyone
something
is
else.
Why everyone is starving? Is it like they don't know
They
how to
don't.
eat?
They don't have proper food in the Spire. No one is cooking. No one is gathering. So there is nothing to eat except how do you call it?
That
Food
sounds
created from magic.
Yeah, magic porridge.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they know how to cook magic porridge.
Well, that sounds like me on a sailing trip. Doo-doo.
And they returned and they found a lot of
Salt, stone,
deposits
sulfur.
of
Oh my god!
different source of
But we're not showing the
minerals.
icons. Yeah, we should fix that.
not yet. Yes,
Mm.
this looks like a super useful cave to dig in. And one of the last interactions for now is draining the monolith or any
Wh-
other
Which is like
magic
a huge.
battery.
Look!
of
Look at
energy.
this guy. It's the same guy. Like he's also wearing
let's check.
soldiers. Look, soldiers uniform,
Yep.
soldiers uniform, soldiers uniform, and all the girls are the same. I hope Kufasa is watching this stream right now, because I think we have a problem.
I think they have similar origins because they are all from a fortress. There is this 5th fortress, boroughs. Okay, they have different locations where they live, where they
Well,
were
it's
living.
Nimble
Fortress.
child earned the reputation of a tramp. I think they all look the same. It's
Close enough,
different. Look, I mean
yes.
the clothing is the same for girls, the same for guys.
Not really. We have at least male and female versions. As
Yeah,
we
well,
were discussing.
Thank God for that. Yeah, sure.
So yeah. That's it for interactions on global map for now.
Yeah, so the summary of today's stream is the game is not coming out next week. But yeah, we're making a bit of progress across different fields. You can see some bits and pieces also on the Discord server, and eventually we'll get there. It's just like building this big thing takes hundreds of different issues to solve, but we will solve it and we will launch. Just a question of timing. And also not making mistakes.
And as you can see, there is some updates for global map, as we were showing on the real-time board. There is already implemented some biomes, but not all of them. For example, ocean or swamps, they look as the same as the previous versions.
It's alright. Anyway, guys, thanks for tuning in and following the progress of the game. You will eventually see this game come out, and we hope seeing it develop in front of your eyes will make you happy, or at least we'll show you how things are made like this.
So we have, I think, last 5 minutes for questions. If you have, you can write them in the chat, Discord, or
Why
Steam.
are you developing so slow? I have a question. Why is it coming out yet? No, it's all good. So next week we'll have a stream in Russian, and then the week after we'll have a stream in English. Thank you very much for staying with us today.
So you can always contact us through the Discord if you have any questions. Thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon on the next stream.
Good night, Tokyo.